Yo, 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 what it do, what it do? It's your boy Yellow the Poet, and today I have Miss Giovanna on the program today. Thank you so much, Miss Giovanna, for joining us at YTP Entertainment. We greatly appreciate you. We're going to learn more about all these wonderful hats that you're wearing, from confusion to clarity. We definitely got to know what that's about, no doubt. So please let the audience know what you got going on.
Thank you so much for having me. Yes, so I am launching a book. You can pre-order it now, but it'll officially, the publishing date is May 13th,
Awesome.
2025. So it's a little bit out there, but yeah, and it's called Confused Girl, Find Your Peace in the Chaos. And the whole premise of the book is that confusion is actually a virtue.
Mhm.
So it's not something that you need to shame yourself about or feel insecure about, because until you're confused, you're not going to discover anything. Confusion is the path to discovery.
Hey, you know what? That's it's funny that you would say that because sometimes when I'm talking to certain people, they actually look at me and they're like, I'm confused. I don't understand exactly what you said. And then when I break it down a little differently, then they're looking at me like, oh, okay. So when you say confusion is the path to discovery, it's funny.
Yeah, honestly, it's like in instances that simple and minor, or in a bigger way, like I'm unhappy with what I'm doing with my job and I want to change career paths, but I'm confused about what would make me happy. I mean, confusion is something that is going to follow us around our entire lives, so you might as well make your peace with it and figure out how to utilize it. Otherwise, it's going to make you really miserable.
I'm sorry, but I couldn't agree with you more. It's one of those things that spontaneously comes up, and if you're not ready for it, it's gonna hit you. If you're ready for it, it's gonna hit you, and it's really nothing that you can do to stop it. The only thing that you can do is actually either quickly work your way through it or sit back and take some time and just start to take things apart and put them back together again.
Yeah. It's so funny because so I this all started as a blog like a decade ago.
Okay.
And I was trying to get myself out of a depression.
Mhm.
And while I was, healing from this, I started a blog called Confused Girl in the City.
Okay.
And so that's where I would, go on YouTube and talk about, what was going on and how I was confused about everything and I didn't even know who I was. And so one of the things I did was I tried one new thing every week to figure
Okay.
out what I liked and didn't like, because it becomes a whole discovery of, trying to figure out who you are and understanding yourself.
Yes. Yeah.
So, which is a wild journey, but and then that led to me starting a yoga wear line called Confused Girl. And
Okay.
then and then that led to
Cool.
a book. So somehow like the confusion like led me to do all these really cool things. And I always tell people I hope I'm always a confused girl, because then I'll always be in discovery mode.
Hey, there's nothing wrong with that. You gotta find your niche and go for it. You definitely got to go for it. And literally, sometimes life's what we look at as mishaps are those things that help you to move forward to the next level. Sometimes skyrocket. It just depends on what it is and how you actually pursue it afterwards, after you've gotten past the state of, I'm not sure, I'm confused, what am I supposed to do next? What am I going to do? Then boom, you figure it out and you gone. You're definitely gone.
Yeah, yeah, no, I talk about that too, how like your setbacks, if you use them properly, it can propel you further than you would have gone without that. And I think it's really funny because my mom was here the other day and we were just letting family and friends know that they could pre-order the book now, you
Hmm.
know, to start that process. And people were so receptive and all excited, but then there was this one lady who's like a friend of my mom's friend who said, "Oh, I don't need that. And my daughter-in-laws don't need that book. One is a doctor and the other one has three kids." And my mom was so upset, like that this lady was so freaking rude. But I immediately I thought in my mind, I was like, oh my God, maybe we'll gift them a copy because they need it the most. I was like, people that are pretending that you're never confused and you don't need any help at all, those are the people that need the most help. That's like how many skeletons are hiding in that closet. You know? I was like, I'm gonna gift her it for Christmas.
That is so true. That is so true. It's funny because I actually experienced some of that in the workplace with my book called Redeem Love. And I was explaining that the purpose for me writing the book was to let the women know that there is a male out here who actually understands some of the things that women go through. And on the flip side, it was to teach the men how to put the love back into the relationships. I had one guy that was like, "Oh man, that's for saps. That's for those guys who really don't know nothing." I was like, "Really? So if that's the case, then explain to me what your definition of love is." Oh man, I don't do all that stuff, man. I ain't got time for that. Man, I'm just going in, do what I got to do, and then I'm going. You know what I'm saying? No, I don't know what you're saying. Please explain, because I really don't understand that mentality. I don't understand that. The wording that you use, I don't understand that. So you're trying to tell me that you've never felt love for any female that you've ever dealt with? Oh no, man, I ain't never. So today, if that's the case, then tell me what female that you've ever dealt with, if you're not still dealing with her anymore, would you go back to? It's like, oh man, yeah, I got this one girl, man. I was like, stop right there. You just lied and you just proved your lie.
Oh my gosh. No, I mean, good on you for, showing him what's up. But I mean, and also amazing that you wrote this book. I love that, My dad was really funny because I say confused girl, find your peace in the chaos. And my dad's like, Javon and men are so confused. They need help too. And I was like, okay, well, let a man help them. I'm gonna concentrate on the women right now. But no, but I mean, right now, especially because society is going through like some real big crises. Like, I mean, men don't know how to be men anymore. Women are not being women anymore. And it's just kind of like a hot mess.
Hmm. Hmm.
And I'm not saying the conventional roles of, well, I am saying that too. And I'm not saying that's a bad thing that we're shifting. It's a good thing that we're shifting, but it's like people don't know where to shift because it's never been done before.
Well, historically, let me give you a little history about, because I did my homework on this. Historically, it's been more than a million years ago that I understood that men and women had to earn the title to be called a man or a woman. And that means that they had to cross all of the T's and dot all their I's. They had to do everything that the actual man or woman would do, meaning carry all the responsibilities that they would carry, figure out problems, understand one another, teach one another how to know one another and how to understand one another, see one another's points of views. And instead of having one of these big, huge arguments, they would question one another to find out, why were you so angry? Let me help you. Let me put you in a different state of being and let me help you to understand that I'm not here to patronize you, but I'm here to understand you and to grow with you. So they called them male figures and female figures, which means that they encompass the male or the female body, but they don't have the characteristics, the traits, nor the understanding on what it takes to actually be a real man or a real woman.
Very interesting. No, I no, but I think that there really should kind of be some kind of course on even helping us understand each other. Because
Hmm.
one of the things that I just kind of realized, and granted, I'm going to generalize here, just, you know, for understanding purposes, but it's like if a woman likes a man, right? It's like the woman will have on in her brain, just imagine like 20 TV screens. She's
Hmm.
working, she's doing laundry, she's like, you know, messaging a friend about a meeting. And then she has on her man on one of the screens. Maybe it's a guy she just met and really likes, or it's like her boyfriend. Okay. So a woman has on all these different screens, but the man that I like screen is always on. Now, a man, when he's at work, he only has one screen on. It's just the work screen, you know? So, like, I think women can easily feel very neglected by men because we're like, well, we're always thinking about you. Why aren't you always thinking about us? You know what I mean? Like a woman will keep things open, you know, for for a man like to go on a date or go do something, or maybe he wants to do something this weekend. I'm not going to plan anything, but a guy will already kind of make plans and do this and then tell the woman like, well, I'm busy with my friends or da, da, da. It's just a very different, like the way we approach each other is very different, and the way our brains work, our biology is really different. Women can't understand why like sending a dick pic, you know, is like something that men think we would like, because men would
Right.
like picture of our parts. That's why
Yeah.
they think we like it. But
Hmm.
for us, it's like, how that is crazy. Why would he do that?
Right.
It's gross. But for them, they're like, well, I'd love to see your private parts. So I'm gonna send you my private parts. Because it's like there's this I mean, no, but it's true. A lot of this stuff can seem, I think, to women like super disrespectful and like you just want to slap them. Like, how
Hmm.
could you do that? And I feel that pretty much all the time with men. But
Uh-huh.
then when I really dissect it, I'm like, because they would like that. That's why they did that. Or because they are not thinking about you at work. Just because you are, they're not. They don't operate like that, you know? So it's very different. I'm sorry I
So,
went on a tangent with that, but
so let me give you a little bit on that. The reason a lot of the females feel like the males don't think about them is because of the one, all of the things that we've been stripped of more than a million years ago. We've been stripped of, and we've been taught all of these extreme stupidities by males who we looked up to, thinking that they were teaching us how to be a man, not knowing that they too did not know how to be a man. So we're looking at generations all the way past our grandfathers and grandmothers, generation, fifth and sixth generations before them, before when all of this knowledge of how to be a real man or real woman was stripped away from us. So for those of us that few, which I really believe, this is just my perception, that there's probably only 2% of the males out here who actually know how to be a man. So that real man is actually going to be thinking about you, is actually going to be pretty much there for you. And on those days when you're like, hey, let's go out, let's go do this, let's go do something, they're like, oh, 1 second, hey, bro, I'm going to kick it with my girl, my wife, my lover, my best friend, whoever, whatever the title that they put on the female that they're with. I'm going to be with her. I'm not going to kick it with you. It would have to be like for me with my wife, it would have to be something that's going to make us pretty substantial income, or something that's got to be extremely important before I would be like, hey, I got to do this right quick. But the difference is, I've already let her know in advance that this was going to happen, not wait until the last minute to tell her. Now, of course, being human, every once in a while you make that mistake, like, oh, darn, I forgot to tell you. That's normal.
Yeah, that's
That's
normal.
normal. But
Yeah.
for that to be all the time, then I can understand why a woman would feel like, man, this dude don't really care anything about me. He doesn't, he just want to do whatever he wants to do. He just want to have sex with me and then just keep it moving. But for a real man, that's not the case. That's definitely not the case.
Well, what do you think it is then about like these men that do that? What is the thinking?
Well, for those male figures, because I can't call them a man, I don't see them as such. For those male figures are born into what we know today as the stereotypes, and they were taught those stereotypes. So if we're going to actually blame anybody, let's blame their fathers. Let's blame their grandfathers. Let's blame their great grandfathers because all of this nonsense was taught to them. It's just in a different era and a different age. Now we're in this age, in this era, and we're still being taught that same thing. It's kind of like, um, I don't know if you're familiar with the term good old boys. It's kind of
Yeah.
like that. So it's kind of like that. So, the good old boys don't ever want anything to change. And when they teach somebody something, they teach them that same stuff and have that same mentality. And that's what these male figures are doing to the younger male figures, which when they grow up, now you all really don't have anything to look forward to because they were taught trash and they're going to continue to be trash until a real man comes along and teaches them how to be a man. And this is one of the things that I have been implementing for a few years now, trying to teach these male figures how to be men and stop being male figures.
My gosh. Well, God bless you. We need, we need more of you doing that, because women are having a really hard time out there.
Mhm.
And, a lot of women, so I'm Italian and Irish and I'm fiery. So like when I feel like disrespected or I feel disrespected, like even in like a small way, like someone said
Yeah.
they were going to do something and then they didn't do it. I
Mhm.
will t I will tell you off. I will not hold back. I will like tell you off. Now, before people used to tell me, whoa, Giovanna, you shouldn't be so abrupt or you should try to be more understanding or da da da. And I'm like, no, because these guys have never been told off by a woman because like calling out a guy is almost like as a woman, it's like a no-no kind of thing. It's like an unsaid, unspoken kind of no-no. But I've
Yes.
like, been doing it for years. And I don't have any like pent up aggression in me.
Mhm. And you
Don't like, I'm not angry, like, because I just get it out in the moment.
mhm.
I know some other women that, these things have constantly been done by her by these like trash men we're talking about.
Mhm.
Just like a lack of common courtesy and decency.
Yes.
You
Yes.
know, like just very common decency stuff, like not being met. And then she just takes it and doesn't say anything and doesn't say anything and doesn't say anything. And now she's like, I am full of rage. And I was
Yes.
like, well, that's not good. I was like, start telling them,
Mhm.
hey, listen, I don't like that you did that. That wasn't cool. That's,
Exactly.
just voice your opinion. And I really think women have to start doing that and showing these guys that we are dissatisfied with their behavior because that's the only way that they're going to change.
Well, it depends because a lot of times you have, like, take for example, if you have a child, right? Let's say we're dealing with a child and this child has never been around someone with structure, someone who's going to actually care for them and show them how to do things the proper way. And that child has been with their parents, and their parents just pretty much let them run rampant and do any and everything they want to do. But once they get around you and you're setting the stage for structure and things of that nature, you're actually taking the time out with them to show them one. two, three. This is how things go. And you can't just run rampant because that's not going to lead you anywhere in life that would allow you to grow. So it's
Yeah.
kind of like that structure with the male figures. The male figures have never been taught what it means to be a man, so they don't know what it means to treat a woman the way that she should be treated. They don't understand that. So in essence, when you first start this quote unquote relationship with them, one of the key things is to ask them how willing are they to learn? Because if you don't teach them what it is about you that they need to know about you, they're never going to question it. They hold too much pride to question that, which is really stupid because pride is one of the things that has made America, the world, lose out on a lot of good things that were coming their way. So they
Yeah.
don't seem to understand that. But when you start to that journey, you'll know that you're going to be able to weed this person out because they're not willing to listen to what you're saying about you teaching them on how to treat you, how to approach you, and things of that nature. When they ready to walk away or they look like they're too bored with that, guess what? You already know this is not the
Yeah.
one.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, no, it's true. The second that you see that, it's time to walk away.
Mhm.
Also, there was this one guy I really liked about a little, a few years back, and my dad had recently passed and we were hanging out, and I started crying. A song came on that reminded me of my dad, and I started crying, and I saw him, he was trying to like ignore me
Mhm.
crying, and then he kind of couldn't ignore it anymore. And then he was just like very uncomfortable. And I
Mhm.
just thought to myself, I was like, this guy, I think maybe doesn't feel comfortable like with any attention that's not on him or
Yeah.
around him. Because it
Yeah.
had nothing to do, crying had nothing to do with him, and he wasn't comfortable like being there for me either. So I was like, okay, bye. I mean, I have no problem saying bye. Like
Right.
I say bye pretty quickly when I see these kinds of things. It's
Hey,
like,
one thing that my wife would tell you all is that I'm an advocate for women. I feel like women don't get enough credit for all the things that they do, all the stuff that they put up with. And one of the things that I've always explained to different women that I've communicated with is you are mature like around the ages of 10 and 12. We mature like around the ages of 25 and 30. So look how long from the age of 10 and 12 all the way up until you reach 25 or 30 that you've put up with a bunch of male trash
yeah, yeah,
before you actually find a real relationship. And
yeah.
so
I'm
that's a
still
lot to that's a lot to, take in, a lot to fathom all those years of not actually being able to find somebody who could at least peak your thoughts of maturity. At least peak that. They can't even do that. Most of them can't do that. But
yeah.
again, I still find it hard to blame the ones that you're with now because again, this was learned behavior. This was stuff that was taught to them by their fathers or whatever male role model they had in their life, and then the ones that was before them taught them that, so they thought, okay, I'm gonna teach my son to be the same way I was taught to be. No, no.
Yeah, no, it's true. It's true. It was so funny because I went out on a date with this guy, and it was my second date, and he was lovely. He took me to a nice dinner, and he did pay for everything. He was very nice. And then he drove me home, and he's like, we got into this whole conversation about men and women. And it
Mhm.
was really interesting from his perspective. He goes, I just women expect so much. they just want so much from you. And I was thinking in my head, I'm like, wow, this must have been a lot for him to like make the reservation, pick me up, take me home. Like these are things I grew up thinking this is just normal what a guy should do, you know? Like that's just like normal, easy, no big deal kind of thing. And for him, it's like, oh wow, I think this guy really put himself out there for this. And then he's like, women just expect so much. And I'm like, and thinking in my head, what are women really expecting so much of? I mean, you're not paying their bills.
Right.
You're not carrying a child. You're not, you know what I mean? A lot of women are pregnant and working. That would be so freaking difficult. I would never do that, you know? But a lot of women are like pregnant, they're working crazy jobs, they have other kids at home. I mean, they're doing so much stuff. And I'm just like, who are these girls that you've been out with that expect so much? Because I guarantee you don't pay their rent, you don't pay for their nails, you don't pay for whatever. So
Mhm.
what are they asking for that's so much for you to treat them nicely on dates?
That's
Or, you know, I'm like, what is it that's so much? But so I talked to my mom about this and she actually had an interesting insight. She, see what you think about this. My mom's like, Giovanna, I just think that right because men are not like multitaskers, are not known to be multitaskers. Like women are more, you know, more likely to be multitaskers. And so with men, it's like before they just had to like kind of go to work, make the money, you know, come home, hang out with the family. It was very structured. Now it's like you're working, you got the phone, you got the emails, you got a lot of things are making you kind of try to go into this multitasking like arena, right?
right.
And so it's like you got your fantasy football, you got your friends messaging you, you got your work stuff, then you got to pay the bills at home, and you got to do your own laundry now and cook for yourself, right? And all this kind of stuff. And my mom said, she's like, I just think that men are very overwhelmed and they get kind of lost in all of that because they're not good multitaskers. And
Mhm.
so doing anything extra for like a woman seems like a really big deal.
So I I partially agree. And the reason why I say that is because most of the males, they are multitasking, but they don't see it as such. It's because they're not focused on what they're doing. And yes, in the cliche type of facet, yes, they're the type of ones that actually will set up the date and try and make sure that we're going out to a nice place and things of that nature. But for those cheap guys, that's a lot. So I'm looking at that
Yeah.
particular scenario from a financial standpoint, and he just found something to throw it off rather than to just be honest and say, hey, this was a little bit above my budget. Can we do something else next time, or can we do this next time? Instead of just saying that, he rather throw it off. And a lot of guys I notice they have a hard time being honest because they're afraid of two things. One, they're afraid to look stupid. And two, they're afraid to lose the woman that they feel in their heart could possibly be the one woman that they could spend the rest of their lives with. But they fail miserably at telling the good, honest truth. Just be honest. They don't understand how easy it is to be honest with the female species. They don't understand how easy that is. They think that that's the hardest thing in the world is to be honest with the females. It's really not. It's really easier to be honest with you all than it is to lie to you all. It's a lot easier.
Yeah. Yeah. No, no, it's so true. And I'll tell you, if you told a woman, you know, listen, I can't afford this, but I can take you here or something, and that woman goes, "Oh, well, I'm looking for someone who can afford that," then that's not your woman. And
Mhm.
like, let's walk. You know what I mean? Forget about her. There's a lot of amazingly beautiful, kind women in the world.
Mhm.
But if a woman really likes you and you said that to her, shoot, like me, for instance, I would just be like, "Oh my God, we can go have a picnic. We can make something together. We can go do whatever else. Thank you
Yes.
for being like I would actually fall in love more.
Yes.
Somebody, if somebody was like, I want to give you those things, I want to do that, but I just can't right now or something, I'd be like, I love you. That is so sweet. I'm in love. And I,
So
sorry, go
the
ahead.
the other part to that is a lot of times the real man is always multitasking because we realize that we have the same responsibilities that a woman has. A woman has the responsibility of being responsible for one, being loyal, being faithful. And when I say this, I'm talking about both parties. You have the
Yeah,
responsibility of being loyal, being
yeah,
faithful,
yeah,
being responsible, and also being understanding, being caring, and not being afraid to express who I am and what I want to my companion. That's all these things are for both sides.
yeah,
When we realize that these are a part of our multitask that we deal with on a regular basis. We focus, we tune in, and we make things right. Now, one of the things that I will say about the male species is a lot of us don't understand it's our job to fix things. And one of the things, I'm gonna show you something too. One of the things that women do all the time is they bring it to you. They tell you what the problem is, whether you're fussing, angry, calm, um, erratic, whatever the case is, the woman is going to bring that problem to you, which that's one of the roles that women play in life is to bring the problem out. Let that problem be exposed. Now, the male species is supposed to take that problem and say, hey, I can handle that. Let me go ahead on and fix that problem. Maybe not so much in those words, but to at least put the action in front of the woman and let her see, yes, you have my support. I'm here for you. Let me go ahead on fix this problem and get it on out the way, and we can move on to something else. They don't
yeah.
understand that each time that happens, that's a level of growth in that relationship, not just for him, but also for her too.
Yeah, yeah, no, it's true. And it makes more sense if you have a partner like that. It makes more sense why you would actually want to get married or have a relationship. Because for me right now, honestly, I'm like, I am so happy I'm, getting my book published, which was like a dream come true. I have amazing friends. I travel the world. I'm content with myself, you know?
Mhm.
And so I'm like, I don't want to bring in somebody to all this amazingness who isn't amazing, to like bring me down or cause problems or make me feel insecure or jealous or, so it's kind of like, well, what's the purpose of even having a man, right? But if you have like, and a lot of women feel that way. A lot of women are like, I don't see the
Yes.
purpose.
Hmm.
I mean, I see it with my friends. I see it on Instagram. Like women are saying, we fought, we got our freedom, or oh, what is it? We got our freedom and now we don't choose you or something. Like that. You see thousands of women like saying all of these things, and it's like, wow, and I just, I think that I love what you're doing because we need still that masculine energy in the world. We need good masculine men. But like you said, there's maybe like 2% of them. Like
Yeah.
it's no, it's really bad. It's really, really bad. And women, I feel like, are evolving and growing and doing the self work and all that kind of stuff. And then we also are educating ourselves and doing our careers. And it's like men are just not doing anything, I feel like a lot. It's like why, You know, like, buddy, you're not doing good. Like, go
Right,
for
right.
a treat or go get like, you know what I mean?
Yes, I do. So the one thing that I taught one of my coworkers is you got three different types. You got the dude, the guy, and then you have the man. So the dude, he's the one that doesn't really know anything. He's that adolescent, still trying to figure things out, and he's going to continue to try to figure things out until he reaches that point of a guy. Once he reaches that point of a guy, the guy understands a little bit about being a man, but he doesn't fully understand what it means to be a man. So he's stuck in between the dude and the man. So he's that one, like the guy that you were just talking about. He's that one that made the plans, took you out, things of that nature. So he understands a little bit about being a man, but he's
Yes.
not fully there yet. So then the man comes along and he's the one who you actually feel like, okay, this is the one, this is the one. But the guy has the persona to make you feel like this is the one. But once you start to know him, then you realize, nah, this is not it. But once you meet that actual man, the man understands like, hey, okay, is there anything about me that you really don't understand? Let me help you. Because that guy is really going to show you who he is. He's going to explain to you who he is. He's going to teach you who he is. And not only that, he's going to compromise and help you to understand the things that he is compromising for because not because he can't tolerate it, but because he doesn't know about it. He's not used to it. So now he's going to ask you questions so that you two can come together and actually build something that'll make you two stronger and constantly grow throughout your entire relationship. That's what the man
Gosh,
does.
I, give me a man. Jesus. No, but seriously, you're
but but
100% right.
the man gets in trouble though. I mean, I'm sorry, I don't mean to cut you off, but the man is the one that gets in trouble because every male that encompasses the male body is being considered a man. They're giving him a title that he actually doesn't deserve.
And no, it makes sense. And then you get women thinking that all men are horrible and jerks, you know? I mean, that's what you're seeing now. I mean, most women are just like, I'm fed up. I'm done. Like, they're so um jaded and it's sad. And even so my male friend, I have a really close guy friend who's like my brother.
Mhm.
And I'll even tell him about certain things and vent to him and stuff. And he's like, Giovanna, there are good men out there though. There are. Don't be careful what comes out of your mouth when you talk like this because it could be a self-fulfilling prophecy. And
Mhm.
so actually talking to you and you describing like the three types,
Yes.
I really like that because it's again reminding me, no, 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 like be hopeful. Be hopeful that one day you will meet that guy that will be mature and ready and want to really know you and not just like use your body. You know what I mean?
Exactly.
Like,
Yeah.
like there might actually be one out there that could really care for me and I could really care for her, which is
Somebody there is. There's somebody out there.
there is somebody
That,
out there.
that,
As you evolve, um, it's harder because you're not as attracted to that many people. You like almost know too much. So and you require more. Your standards are higher.
yes, but your standards are only higher because you've encountered so much. So now you change your standards instead of leaving your standards the same, but pushing out those bad ones that don't mean you any good.
Yeah.
So that'll happen and it's understandable. It's totally understandable, but it's also commendable because you're not allowing yourself to lower your standards to meet someone that never met your standards in the first place. And that's unfair. That's totally unfair to the females. It's totally unfair to the real men that are out here. It's not that many of them, but it's totally unfair for them too. It's the truth. But a lot of the men get the bash. They get bashed because they're not out here showing these male figures how to be men. So we
Yeah.
ask them every time a woman says the man, the man, the man, the man. Okay, if you had a man, you wouldn't be saying that. But
Yeah,
seeing this,
you had a guy or a dude.
right, right. So seeing
Okay,
as
you
though
didn't
you
have a man.
had,
You had a
yeah,
guy or a dude. You know, it's
yeah,
so funny that I'm actually having this conversation with you right now because
mhm.
I didn't even know that you wrote a book on this, or I didn't even know that we were going to talk about this. That's the great thing about podcasts. But I literally put this on my Instagram story. I can't tell you how many times I've been on dates with men and felt like an object to them. It used to hurt me deeply, but now I simply remove myself from the situation instead of trying to convince them to see me as a human being. Here's a fact. If you are a man who uses women's bodies to boost your ego, you are diminishing your own value. You're not acting like a man, you're behaving like an insecure little boy.
Yep, and that is so true. It is. They're definitely behaving very immaturely. And real men, we don't see women as a sex toy or a sex object. We don't see women that way. We see women as a equal. And let me explain to you about equal based on something that you just mentioned earlier when you were talking about cleaning the house and washing the clothes and doing things like that.
Yeah.
So here we go with my scenario, and this is something I break down to a lot of people a lot of times. So if you look at the man and the woman as a human being, we're right here. We're equal. So if you look at the man and the woman for what they do or their mentality, we're still going to be equal. Now, let's put what society looks at a man and a woman as and not what a real man and a woman looks at a man and a woman as. So society see the woman here and the man here. But in reality, when you understand how equal we really are, let's say the woman is a stay-at-home mom and the man is working. She's working, she's doing all these things at home, cleaning, cooking, making sure the house is straight, making sure everything is still intact, don't no repairs or anything like that are needed. And the man
Yeah.
is at work at this job. Now, in today's society, you're seeing this way, but in reality, you're still going to be here. Now, let's say a salesman comes to the house and that salesman say, "Hey, tell me about something that could possibly be broken in the house, and I'll show you this design that we have to help you identify those things a lot quicker and a lot sooner." Now let's say you got that male that thinks that he knows what's going on in the house. That salesman's going to make him look real stupid because you really don't know what's going on in the house. You're not there enough. You're at
Yeah.
work, or your mind is occupied by something else. Now, if you're a real man, you're going to let that woman step up and you're going to stand by her or stand behind her at the least. And she'll tell the salesman what's going on. So she's the one who gets to lead that conversation. And a real man will let her lead because this is more her field than his. She can't tell him what's going on at work, and he can't tell her what's going on at home
Yeah.
unless
Yeah.
them
Yeah.
to say what that is, right? So
Yeah.
either
Yeah.
way it go, we're still going to continue to be on equal planes as long as you understand that everything, no matter what it is, has a 50-50. There's a strength and a weakness to everything, but everything is still 50-50, irregardless of how you look at
Yeah. Yeah,
it.
yeah, exactly, exactly. Everybody have their own, well, my friend always says it's my life and your life and then our life.
Hmm. Yeah, yeah.
Like everyone still needs to have their own life.
Hmm. True, true.
Like, because the codependence becomes a very I feel like it's very painful actually.
It depends. It depends on how we grow together as a couple. If I'm always learning more about you and understanding your points of views, and you're learning about me and understanding my points of views, we'll never take codependency in a way that we're trying to overturn one another. We'll always take codependency as this is our opportunity to grow and work together. So it depends on the perception of that and the relationship.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. True, true. I get that. I get that.
I'm sorry. I'm sorry. I just have to be honest. This just, I mean, there's so much stuff that I've learned, not only about women, but I've learned a lot of stuff about men and their lack of behavior. And I'm just trying to help right the wrongs.
Yeah, no, I so commend you for doing that. It
Like,
it needs to be done. There needs to be better male figures. I feel like the the position of a man has been really projected by like a lot of narcissism too. It's been like a
yes.
lot of narcissists. And
Mhm.
so I think that's a huge problem as well.
It is. It is. And every time somebody says something, oh, men are dogs, men are this, I say, do you really know what a man is? I mean, because for you to say something like that, there's no way that you could possibly know what a man is. You may know what a male figure is, you may know what a dude is, you may know what a guy is, but for you to know what a man is, there's no way in the world that you would say that about a man, because a man would never put himself in a category to even be talked about in that negative light.
Yeah. Yeah, 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 yeah. No, it's yeah, I know it's true. It's so true. Too bad there's only 2% of the population though that
Well, it may be more, but that was just my guesstimate based on the amount
I think
of
you're actually
males I've
being
run
really
into.
generous. I think you're generous 2%, to be honest.
So that was generous. Oh my
The
goodness.
the problem with the narcissism though is that the narcissists don't think that they need any help. So that's the issue.
And that's a huge, you got the narcissist, you got the egotistic, and you just got the know-it-alls, so we have
Yeah,
three.
exactly.
And those types of males and females will never learn anything about having a real relationship because they think they know it all. They think
Mhm.
that they are the ones. And if you don't like what I got or like what I say or like what I do, then move on to the next one. And a lot of times it takes a little bit of just say, hey, what makes you tick? Help me understand something about you. It just takes those couple of questions sometimes to bring that person down and make them understand that, hey, all of that egotisticness that you just threw out there is no need for it. Let's actually build something together, or let's just separate. Let's just keep it moving because you're
Yeah,
not.
exactly. Exactly. There you go. Why keep it moving? This little confused girl is moving right along.
So one of the other things I tell too is like I tell my daughter, I say, instead of getting into a relationship at first, let's get into a opportunity to build a relationship. Let's not get into a relationship because a lot of us, when we meet each other and we see that attraction, we think that, okay, let's go ahead on and get in this relationship and let's see if we can make it work. Instead of saying, hey, let's build into a relationship. We're not going to call each other boyfriend, girlfriend. We're not going to call each other anything except for by our names. That's
Yeah.
it. And right now, we're building that. So now I need to see how you are by yourself. I need to see how you are with me. I need to see how you are around your family. I need to see how you are around your friends. And then lastly, I need to see how you interact with strangers. All these things right here give me the opportunity to say whether I want to build this into a relationship or not. Once
Mhm.
I'm seeing these things right here, face front, face value, it gives me the opportunity to say, hey, you know what, after seeing this, this, and this, okay, I can kind of deal with you. Or after seeing this, this, and this, I think it's best that we continue to go our separate ways.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
Yep.
Has to be
So
like that.
no opportunities to get too many feelings involved, no opportunities to say, hey, well, you told me this lie and you end up doing this. Is no time for it because you didn't allow yourself to fall into that trap of, hey, this is my man, this is my woman. And as long as you take those
Exactly.
things away,
Exactly. You didn't what is it? Cart the horse before the carriage or
yes,
something.
yes, yes.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. I think that whole saying. I said it right. But yeah, exactly. It's like you have to, and women have to be really careful about that. You know,
Hmm.
I think that's more of a thing women do than men. I mean, there are some men that might go there if they're like a little bit more romantic or daydreamers or whatever,
Yes,
but women will
yes.
like, I mean, at least we have a phone call with someone from online dating and we think we might like them and they look cute. We like maybe what they do for a living or something. And then we're already envisioning our wedding and the
Mhm.
children. And it's just how we are programmed or something, and that messes us up a lot. Because then
Yeah,
if because even just that one thought can lead to quite a lot of disappointment later on.
yeah. It's part of the laws of attraction, so once we first see what we like, you automatically get this feeling that comes over you, and you're like, whoo, then all of the thoughts of what could be, what you would like for it to be, all that stuff starts to coming into play. But
Yeah.
the crash course doesn't meet what I was thinking.
Yep.
So now you're stuck with, goodness gracious, why did I go any further with this?
What was I thinking?
Yep. So it's really, really getting close. We had fun. Oh my goodness. It's really getting close to our time, but I definitely want you to tell us what was the main thing that you want your audience to learn about your book.
Just that confusion is actually a virtue. And if you can get comfortable with the confusion that you face in your life and use it as a tool for discovery, just how we were talking, like you can turn your setbacks into something that propels you way further. Like a bow and arrow, you get pulled back and then
Yes.
shoo. You know? So it's that's the premise of the book. And then I offer all of these tools and I go into like my personal stories and stuff, but it's about how confusion is a virtue because it actually really is.
Hmm. And I think that everything that we just talked about could actually tie in to some of the things that are actually in your book.
Oh, totally. So many things. And actually, chapter 9 is called Decoding Romantic Relationships. And I
Mhm.
go into like a lot of this stuff and a lot of tools to help navigate dating and yeah, and just to make it more of an adventure versus something that you're constantly disappointed and upset about.
Well, that's pretty cool. That is so cool. I'm glad you actually go into these things. I mean, it's always good to have things from both perspectives, from the male's perspective and the female's perspective. And those
100%.
things, as long as we are paying attention, those things can actually help us grow. But for those who don't pay attention, then I'm sorry, that's your loss, you know.
Absolutely.
So please give us something motivational.
Oh, me?
Yes.
Wait, who? Wait, is there anything else here? Give you something motivational. You know, uh, I would say this because I was thinking about this today. So it's authentic from today.
Cool.
And I was thinking about happiness and why I'm like pretty like happy and content, like almost every day, really. And I believe one of the big reasons is because I find little joys in my day and I really like appreciate it. Like in the morning I wake up and I make a cappuccino and I
Mm.
love cappuccinos with like the oat milk and I just like sit there and let myself wake up and I'm like I just love this coffee so much. I'm just, and so I
Um,
think that if you can learn to appreciate little joys within your day, you're going to have a very happy life. Money comes and goes. And, even you hear of these people with a lot of money or like committing suicide and stuff like that, because it's really not about all of that. It's about really being able to experience joyful things in your day and take note of it.
Yes, yes, indeed. Yes, indeed. And I want to add something to that because that is a powerful message. I think that one of the things that I say is count your blessings because every little thing that comes your way and that can put a smile on your face or at least make the wheel spin, those are blessings. Count them as they come and never, never forget to appreciate them because you can count them all day, but are you actually appreciating them? Because the appreciation goes to the heart and allows the blood to flow to the brain, and that full appreciation will start to protrude. So you got to take it for what it is.
Absolutely. It's so true. It's so
Yes,
true.
indeed. Yes, indeed. So, where are some of the places that our people can actually meet you and learn more about you?
Well, you can follow me on Instagram at Confused Girl LA, and then also my website is confusedgirlinthecity.com.
Awesome, awesome. And I will definitely be following you on Instagram. I'm on Instagram as well. So
Oh,
I try to make
yeah.
sure that I'm following everybody on some platform that comes on the podcast so that we can see each other's works.
Yeah. No,
So I think
amazing.
that's pretty cool. No doubt, no doubt. One other thing before we go, um, tell me this. In your everyday life, the things that you're doing, what are some of the things that you're doing that also correlate with your book?
Oh, everything. Everything. Oh, is that your daughter?
My granddaughter.
Oh, your granddaughter. Oh my gosh. You're not old enough to be a granddaughter. That's crazy. Um, I would say, so many things. Like the tools that I give in my book are things I live by and I do. All because we were talking so much about relationships, I'll just tell you one of the things is that I discovered that I was disappointed all the time because I had expectations versus standards.
Yes.
So I would like expect guys to do this, this, and this. And then when they didn't do it, I would just constantly be disappointed versus just, okay, you know what? That behavior, it does not meet my standard of what I'm looking for. So I'm just going to walk away from this right now.
Mm,
And so I talk about that in the book as well. And now I do live by the standards versus the expectations.
yes.
Um,
Yes.
just way more empowering.
It is. It is definitely. And that's one of the things I learned. Like a lot of the women, a lot of the females, they actually pick a particular standards that they're going to live by, and they try not to let anybody break those standards. I mean, every once in a while, you'll find somebody who kind of weasel their little way through, but for the most part, it's not happening. You're going to stick to those standards, and that's just it. And I feel like the thing that is lacking is a lot of the females don't understand that the real men actually have standards too. It's those other two, the guy and the dude that I told you about, that really don't have standards. They really don't understand what it means to set a boundary, not only for yourself, because you have to know yourself in order to be able to set these boundaries, and but also for the person that you intend to grow with.
Yeah.
So that together makes a solid bond. And for me, growth is everything. If you're gonna build a strong relationship, you have to build a relationship that's gonna allow both of you to grow, not just one person.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Was definitely Miss Giovanna, this was an awesome conversation. It definitely opened up a lot of, information and allowed us to be able to express things that a lot of times you don't get a chance to even talk about. So this is definitely a blessing. I definitely thank you for everything. Thank you for being on the show. Thank you for being a blessing. Thank you for encouraging the audience. Awesome. I greatly appreciate it all.
Thank you so much, Yellow. Thank you so much. This was so fantastic. And I have to say, it's really great to talk about this stuff with a man versus your other girlfriends. Because like you're actually like talking to the source here.
Yeah.
We're
Thank you
just
so
like
much.
guessing and making assumptions, but it's actually nice to talk to somebody who's like a man.
I truly thank you for that a lot. Greatly appreciate it. And hopefully this conversation can actually be spread to the world and hopefully people will actually learn something from it. Because that's the real goal here. We got to share the information from both sides. And that's something that a lot of people don't get a chance to see. So I think this is going to be a really, really interesting podcast for a lot of people.
Yay.
Yes. So thank you so much. You have a wonderful, wonderful rest of your day and many blessings.
Thank you, you too.
Have a great day. Bye
Bye, bye, bye.
bye.